Left off last week, roughly. And before we get started, let me go ahead and talk about the Friends of Greenwater Guildhall. If you're watching on Twitch, you can scroll down. There should be some tiles there. If you don't see the tiles, you can go ahead and click on my profile image and they should pop up. And the first on our list is TNC. That stands for Talon Claw. They are great friends of the Greenwater Guildhall, and they make fantastic wooden tabletop RPG products such as dice vaults, wooden DM screens, wooden drink coasters. I actually just got from them a bottle opener for the game room, because when we're here playing in person, we like to drink our beers. And it has the character class Way of the Drunken Master on it, which I thought was appropriate. So yeah, definitely check out Talon Claw. They make some really great products. I know that he has made some great strides this last weekend working on his new gaming table. I'm not sure if that's going to be like a prototype that he's putting together, a proof of concept, or what if he's going to put out a whole line. I don't know. But the other new thing that they put out is cutting boards. So if you like to serve meat and cheese trays at your games, you can go ahead and order one of the cutting boards, and they have some new ones that have map artwork engraved into them from the artist Devin Rue. So yeah, definitely check out Talon Claw. The next one on the list is the Speechless Bard. She makes absolutely wonderful leather covers for your core rulebooks. She also has a line of D&D dice bracelets. One of her really popular ones is the Pride bracelet, where every single dice on the bracelet is a different color. She makes amazing products, all hand-stitched and hand-painted. Wonderful woman. She does beautiful artwork. And last on the list is Fable Beard Company. They make beard balms, oils, butters, co-wash, beard wash, all of that stuff. They have a full CBD line, and each scent profile is a different fantasy character. They have several different characters. I think Dr. Wolf smells like blueberries and pipe tobacco, and then they've got another one, the Distiller, which smells like vanilla bourbon. So yeah, you'll definitely want to check them out. Right now I'm still working through my holiday stash. I am wearing Jack Frost and beard oil and Gingerbread Man beard balm. So absolutely fantastic product. Check them out. Any word, Brady, on where Thrick may be?
Maybe not.
Okay, so we will.
I'm looked up.
Okay, well, we will move forward. There's Anthony. No, you're good. Go ahead and get on roll 20. Where we left off last week, you guys had defeated a Manchun clone in valorious combat. You kind of stomped him through a series of terrible rolls on his part. You guys just beat the tar out of him, and you have liberated the noble hostages that he took off of your airship. And you have moved back to your airship. You have this Earthmote that is floating up here. I guess the question is, what do you guys want to do with this Earthmote? I mean, it's not like you can get rid of it, but you could, write a note down. I mean, you essentially control this Earthmote now. You can build a stronghold here. It's really entirely up to you. You could build a resort up here. I mean,
a stronghold sounds really nice. I don't know if we can afford it though. The resort sounds even better.
Generate more cash.
That means if Waterdeep goes under siege, we'll have a place for all the people to go. What would be under siege?
Well, you wouldn't have a place for all the people of Waterdeep to go, but I mean, it's not that big. But
we have a place for us to go.
you would have a place for you to go, yeah.
Have we verified that we've cleaned out this floating cover?
What?
We beat the guy in the very first dungeon that we left, so I don't think we even mapped out the extent of the floating out, right?
Yeah, you haven't entirely mapped out the temple, but you have taken over. I mean, by this point, you could walk around. There's really nothing else in here.
Okay.
The Yuan-Ti...
We finished the downstairs, we just haven't gone to the outside.
Right, yeah. And like I said, the outside, the island itself isn't that big. I would go so far as to say that this underground complex beneath the step pyramid probably takes up a good portion of the interior of this Earthmote.
Oh, okay. Still, I could not go in the first floor.
Yeah.
Can Earthmote be moved anyway? Just where it is.
It's kind of just where it is. There were ancient magics of the Netherese Empire that could set Earthmotes on like on a rotating pattern. But it wasn't like you would use an Earthmote to travel anywhere. It's essentially just a floating island.
But it's our floating island.
But it's your floating island, right?
Well, I mean, absolutely. We gotta, mark this down in the maps and be all like, hey, we can come back here and clear this all out and have a pretty nice little jungle setup, yo.
Yeah, it's something that...
Maybe we make this a docking place if there's other airships, and then we put a bar in it on there.
Well, and
If they need to.
that is the other thing, is that in taking control of this Earthmote, you have also gained access to 3 smaller airships. And I mean, almost every airship is smaller than the one that you have, but because yours is like a full, 4-deck galley. But these 3 other airships, they're small 2-deck, long ship style airships, and they are docked here. But you killed the last of the pirates, so you guys kind of killed the last of my pirates, and you killed the last of my Yuan-Ti.
We need a noble delivery system with these airships.
I think what we have right here is the beginnings of Disney World.
What about the 20 ladies in white?
Well, you rescued the 20 ladies in white as well, and when you got rid of the Yuan-Ti, we kind of skipped over that because that last Yuan-Ti battle was a big one, and we ended with the big flourish. But when you killed the last of the Yuan-Ti, the 20 ladies in white, the glazed look on their face and in their eyes left, and they regained their senses, and now you've got these 20 women in white robes that were worshipping snake people that don't really want to be there anymore. So you kind of would have ended up rescuing them, and it's not like you don't have room on your airship.
Doesn't some Bart still want to run a brothel or something?
Well, they are looking for an employment.
I'm sure we can, find jobs for a few of them if they've got skills that can be put to use around Trollskull.
Oh,
airship crew since, you know, the last one turned out to be a bunch of damn pirates.
Well, not all of them were pirates. It was just the temporary workers, and so Liff and Quill had hired additional these temp workers because they knew that for the gala event for the initial launch of the airship that they were going to need additional help, and that's where these pirates came in.
Well, I'm sure, you know, probably put them up at the Troll Skull until they figure out something to do. We got a church that they could work in, since it seems like they already got some experience in religious rituals.
Yeah. Yeah, these 20 girls, they're all between the ages of 18 and 25, and probably between the lot of them, they don't have enough IQ to melt the frosting on a Pop-Tart, but which is how they fell in with a cult in the first place. So it's not like the Yuan-Ti had to really, strain too much to try and charm them, but they have some skills.
Yeah, we should
Gotta take them along. All of the ladies and the maidens in distress.
I think we need better hiring criteria than just we rescued you from the forest. We should return to their families, and if they meet our requirements, which are TBD at this point, then we can offer the job and do stuff like that. The question is, what do we want to do? We don't have this floating multi-acre piece of real estate and this rubbery built mansion that's underground, so it's environmentally controlled, and this place is freaking awesome if we had a purpose for it. So we want to start an orphanage and crank out highly skilled thieves that we could put into various places and take over the world, or do we want to have a resort, a Disney World resort, or Studio 54, where anything goes? Or we want to have a factory where we crank out mind-altering chemicals. What are we doing? Right now,
Yeah, I mean,
just been focused on saving the world and going to the bottom of this thing, and that was pretty much it.
well, and I mean, it could be something that you guys kind of think about what you're going to do with the Earthmote, over the next week or two. But as it is, you would probably. This is one of those assets that you probably want to think about what you're going to do with it before you just jump on something.
Yep.
But like I said, this was a side endeavor, and you have your main job of getting to the bottom of Undermountain and confronting Hallister Blackcloak. Now, in the process of that, you could always, use the sending stone to call up to, if you come up with an ingenious idea that you want to implement right away, you could call up to Liff and Quill and have them go and, start setting into motion whatever it is that you want to decide to do with the Earthmote. So you guys, you load up onto the airship and head back down to Waterdeep.
To face the repercussions of the high nicotine extreme kidnapped.
Did we see of our noble? Did any of them get eaten or didn't survive the trip somehow?
No, luckily the two that were going to get eaten, you rescued at the very last minute, just before they were going to be eaten in a ritualistic manner. But all of the other ones were just kept captive, waiting to be eaten.
One that was older that had been there from before that we rescued?
Yes. And so she is waiting on the airship. Now, your big airship went back to Waterdeep with Laeral Silverhand. And you took one of the pirate airships in an attempt to sneak in, which kind of worked. So you've got these 3 smaller airships, but yeah, you could load everybody up into the secondary hull of one of them, and or the lower decks of one of them, and you shouldn't have a problem getting back.
Well, then I guess everyone got properly rescued and they can't file any complaints.
Yes, there will be no legal problems. And when you get back to Trollskull Manor, Laeral Silverhand is there in the tap room, and everybody, the tap room seems fairly quiet when you come in. It seems everybody is pacing around in a nervous manner, including Laeral Silverhand. And you come in, and a cheer goes up from the room, and all the nobles that were on your airship have gone and have been waiting patiently in the tap room for your triumphant return. And the call goes out that you rescued the nobles of Waterdeep, including Laeral Silverhand and Mert the Moneylender, from certain doom from air pirates. And you are great heroes. And for that,
We bring a whole bunch of, we bring 20 cheap young things and white ones to the tap room to mingle with the high and mighty of Waterdeep before we try to find out where the diamonds are.
so
Who knows where that is?
since I have the book open on this page, Telfar, your weekly blessing is, for today, you will have the blessing of wound closure. It works as a period of wound closure, which I suppose I should look that up, because I always seem to get it wrong. So while you have this blessing, if for some reason you drop to 0 hit points, you will automatically stabilize. You do not have to make a death save.
Sweet. Loving it.
But you don't need it.
Hold on here. Part of, so when you brought back the rune shard for Jalister Silvermane, who you learned he gave the shard to Laeral Silverhand, you were promised special favors, and what that essentially comes down to, let's see here. You are granted, if you have a need or a request or question or need inside information from the City Watch, Jalister Silvermane has been authorized to give that to you. And it could be, anything. And it's not like a one-time thing. It's an ongoing situation. So basically, if you need information on the comings and goings of the wait staff into Mert the Moneylender's mansion, Jallister Silvermane will do his best to get that information to you. And then next week you could be like, well, what's the current situation with City Watch spies that have infiltrated the Xanathar's guild? And he would give that information to you. So it's an ongoing relationship. However,
Xanathar at this point.
However, with the current situation, with the rescuing of the Waterdeep nobles from air pirates, you are all given letters of recommendation, all signed by both Mert the Moneylender and Laeral Silverhand. She's the big important one since she's the Open Lord of Waterdeep. It comes in a handsome portfolio with the stamp of approval, the wax seal of the Open Lord of Waterdeep. And basically, if you go someplace, and this will usually happen with, dealing with bureaucrats or administration or dealing with nobles or whatever, if they give you any grief, you can be like, oh, well, I have this. And you can pull this thing out, and they'll be far more inclined to assist you or cut through the red tape than it would be otherwise. So yeah, it says a letter of recommendation from a person of impeccable reputation can grant adventurers access to NPCs that they would otherwise have trouble meeting on their own, such as a duke, viceroy, or queen. Moreover, carrying such a recommendation on one's person can help clear up quote-unquote misunderstandings with local authorities who might not otherwise take the adventurers at their word. It says a letter of recommendation is worth only as much as the person who wrote it, and it offers no benefit in places where its writer holds no sway. Well, this was written by Laeral Silverhand, so you're going to have quite a bit of latitude with using these, and each one of you gets a letter of recommendation.
You might be a good person to talk to about our eventual our goals of getting a Spelljammer ship and having the Earthmote. There may be some nice synergy between those two that Silverhand can help us figure out a good use for.
Yeah.
But that's for the future. Right now we have to save the whole freaking universe.
Right. From this dastardly wizard, Hallister Blackcloak.
Right.
Not even so. I have a hard time thinking of Hallister as being, dastardly or evil, because he's really just insane. It doesn't seem like much of anything that he does has any cohesive purpose.
Or a little crazy, man.
Yeah, it seems like everything that he does, he seems to he gets started on one project and then half-asses it and moves on to something else. And it's like, so the question is, how long will that insanity go on, and will one of his projects come to fruition and cause everybody, massive harm?
Well, now that we have Silverhand and Mert there, Silverhand's probably more than Mert. Let's bring him into the storyline of the Raven Queen and how Hallister's going to destroy all the planes and do our best to figure it later. I mean, it could be as simple as, hey, for example, suppose you play a game with Hollister, and it's the butterfly effect, and everything's great, or maybe we make him sane, or hey, if we make him sane, maybe that's what straightens him up so that he has the power to destroy the multiverse. You know,
Right.
Do that.
Yeah, he I don't know. So even at the very beginning, and this would be thousands of years ago, at the very beginning, it would be hard to say that Hallister was anything other than evil. But it would also be questionable to even really say that he was anything. It's not like he was perfectly sane when he started Undermountain. So, I don't know that a greater restoration spell would stop his insanity. That may be beyond the realms of magic, or even a wish spell. And if you did, I think you're right, then he would have the wherewithal to actually focus on his projects.
Yeah, and at this point, we've just been diving down deep because that's where he is. But we don't really know what to do when we get there. Mostly we just kill stuff.
Right. Which seems to be a perfectly acceptable solution. Now, did you want to ask Laeral Silverhand about Hallister Blackcloak? Like, did you want to go over the whole, that you met the Raven Queen and the whole bit about that, or do you want to keep that to yourself?
I think we should tell Laeral Silverhand.
I think we should tell her too. Isn't she like that daughter of Mystra or something?
Yes.
All these people live in the universe too, right? They have a vested interest in
Well, yeah.
the universe continuing.
Yeah, true. Well, let's see here.
It would take quite different actions if I didn't. Wasn't for a god that the cost of failure was infinite.
You what now?
It would take different actions if a god hadn't told me that the failure was death for everything in existence. But as it is, it's not really even a decision. There is no cost-benefit analysis. You've got infinite loss versus anything else.
Right. Well, and so you guys convey to Laeral Silverhand, what you learned from the Raven Queen, and it seems like, and Laeral Silverhand has reiterated this. It seems like whatever that, because Laeral Silverhand's aware of other events that have transpired over the course of this entire adventure, things that have happened that you weren't directly involved with. So one of the things that happened was that the princes of elemental evil were discovered in the Desserin Valley of the Sword Coast, and that threat was neutralized by a group of adventurers. So the visions and stories that you got from the Raven Queen at this point wouldn't be able to come to pass because Hallister Blackcloak would have no access any longer to the Princes of Elemental Evil. The other one that she fills you in on is that there is now a power vacuum going on in Avernus. That one of the archdevils of Avernus has also been neutralized and is no longer a threat. And so right now, the power vacuum is all of these other archdevils are fighting one another down in hell, trying to see who is going to be in control of Avernus. So with that chaos going on down there, that would further the idea that whole possibility of Halaster going down with the Princes of Elemental Evil and taking over Avernus and then taking over the material plane would be impossible, because the two things that he needed for that have now been removed from the board.
Okay.
That doesn't change the fact that Halaster, has spoons in other pots. But at least that big pot is no longer viable for him.
Is there a way to make contact with the Raven Queen to see if the task that she set before us needs to be modified or is no longer necessary? Is there a priesthood that, someone at the top of the priesthood that, I know the Raven Queen is traditional.
The Raven Queen is notoriously difficult to contact. You have never heard of anybody else going to the Shadowfell and actually gaining an audience with the Raven Queen. That's unheard of. And even when you were telling this story to Laeral Silverhand, the look on her face, she doesn't say anything, but the look on her face is one of incredulity, that she thinks that you may have met with an agent of the Raven Queen, because nobody meets with the Raven Queen. Having said that, if somebody has a divine intervention card that they want to burn, there's a 30% chance that you'll get some kind of answer. Or if somebody has access to the to that spell.
So if we can avert this near suicide mission, that would be awesome. However, if we avert it on our own initiative and we find out that that was not the way that the god expected us to behave, we probably then committed a different kind of suicide. Because having a god tell you to do something and then you just bail him out, not your typical thing to do.
Well, you're now considered heroes of Waterdeep, and Laeral Silverhand doesn't. I mean, regardless of what the answer would be from the Raven Queen, Laeral Silverhand does not want you to abandon your goal. She still finds regardless, Halaster Blackcloak is still a threat. Just like the Manchun clone was a threat. Even if, you had dashed his plans, which you have done so twice, he's still a threat. So, he would have had to have been dealt with one way or the other. Really, in my opinion, compared to Manchun, Halaster is a much greater threat. Mostly because it's just completely random what he might do.
Well, he seems to be casting around, throwing 10th level magic left and right.
Right.
I'm not sure really gets the power to do it, but he is doing things that are beyond the 9 levels of spells that typical wizards have access to.
So, she tells you that more than 1,000 years ago, the Halaster Blackcloak journeyed here from a distant land to the base of Mount Waterdeep, and basically went down and he built a tower. And nobody knows why he came. Maybe he was, maybe he came here due to the whispered summons of Providence. Some believe that he hailed from the nearby forgotten empire known as the Cradle Lands. In ages past, humanity spread from the Cradle Lands across Faerun, originating from what is now the Plains of Purple Dust, a wasteland birthed out of conflict with the gods. But nobody knows where this guy came from. He just showed up at the base of Mount Waterdeep, and he built a tower. And with the tower, he then took 7 apprentices. And they did all sorts of horrible, terrible experiments in the tower. The 7, with the 7 guarding his back, Hallister tapped into the immense power to summon beings from other planes of existence to help him build the wizard's tower. And it was a tower to dwarf all other wizards' towers. But as the seasons wore on, the 7 saw less and less of their enigmatic master. Hallister continued to use fell creatures from distant planes for tunneling and other construction beneath the tower. And the wizard kept the nature of most of his underground dealings a secret from the 7. Eventually, Hallister's exploration broke into the Underhalls, a complex of tunnels and rooms built by the dwarves around the mithril mine beneath Mount Waterdeep. The architects of Underhalls, the Malarkin clan, had long ago been killed or dispersed, and warring Duergar and Drow had settled in the ruins. Hallister began a crusade against both the Drow and the Duergar, participating in wild hunts with extraplanar allies through the tunnels. The stubborn Duergar dug in until the mithril was largely mined out. Then they abandoned the Underhalls, leaving the Drow to fight Hallister and his minions alone. The Mad Mage rounded up the remaining Dark Elves, trapping some of their souls for use in his dark magic while twisting the bodies and enslaving the minds of others. Using his underground complex as a base of operations, Hallister traveled to other planes and distant lands, collecting strange and dangerous creatures to live as prisoners, servants, or guardians in Undermountain, which you have all run into numerous times.
Right, you started to get double teamed.
You what? Okay. Hallister's apprentices came and went, some left only to return inexplicably drawn down into the Undermountain's depths. Others remained by his side as they began dedicating more attention to their private obsessions. Madness settled into their souls as well. During the years that Hallister quested on other planes and sequestered himself in the tunnels, his magnificent tower and its surrounding walls fell into ruin. In time, the city now known as Waterdeep developed in the shadow of Mount Waterdeep and spread down into the harbor. As the city sprawled outward over the years, it came to surround the ruins of Hallister's home. Undermountain was known to these early settlers, and they often sent criminals into the endless depths as punishment. So it was for many years until an intrepid adventurer named Durnan delved into the labyrinth beneath the tower and returned alive, laden with riches and countless harrowing tales. Durnan used his new fortune to demolish the remnants of Hallister's tower, and he built an inn over the well he had used to descend into Undermountain, and he called it the Yawning Portal. So, Hallister is a bad dude. Over the past century, it has been believed that Hallister was killed or died off many times, but he always seems to come back. And so Laeral Silverhand, for the good of Waterdeep, is asking that you not abandon this and not let him go, and to see this to the end and put him down.
Yeah, do real possible, because he's been killed last time, but he's coming back.
Right. Well, I mean, you could you could destroy Hollister, and in 100 years he might come back again, anyways.
Sure. Well, okay, so it doesn't need to destroy for all time. Just try to knock it down for a generation or two.
Yeah, just put a stop to his immediate insanity.
Okay. And we also know about Hollister that he, at least someone with his wearing his form, meets up in the Skullport with the lady that runs the tavern there.
Right. And that's a very bizarre relationship. Hollister, so, I mean, there are other denizens of Undermountain, Skullport being one of them, in that some of the denizens of Undermountain, Hollister seems to just leave alone. Other parties that have gone down into Undermountain after you, and they are obviously much higher level, have reported back that many of the levels that you essentially cleared out or dealt with a major menace there and then moved on, new menaces have popped up, and levels that you have cleared out have been completely repopulated with other creatures. So it's kind of like he treats Undermountain like it's his own personal amusement park. And if it were not for the fact that from all information that you have, it appears that Hollister is not a lich. But for all intents and purposes, he sounds a lot like the famed lich Acererak, where Acererak will create a dungeon with the sole intention of drawing adventurers to loot it and killing them all, just so that he can feed his phylactery. But Hollister doesn't even have a phylactery to feed. He seems to just enjoy messing with people. And Laeral Silverhand fears that in his insanity and what he is, knowing now that for certain that Hollister has returned and is directly beneath Waterdeep, she fears that this is coming to a boiling point, and she fears that it's going to boil over into the city itself.
Well, chaps, sounds like we gotta keep plugging away at it down below.
Well, I'm fine with that. For no other reason.
I had $1 for every time I said that.
But as far as Hollister goes,
Naturally.
as far as the Hollister goes, we have 20 or 30 spheres of annihilation and some teleport denial spells and just
So
Late at night, I can barely hear you. Sounds like you're talking with a sock in your mouth.
Yeah, it does.
we changed the microphone to, let's see, just a test. Can you hear me better now?
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, see, I have a new device. You know what? Screw the new device.
All right, can you hear me now?
Oh, crystal clear.
Yeah. So
I just yanked the camera out of the USB port because I had told it I'm using the headset only, and it, I don't know, still screwing with me. So
Yeah, there's been times where my webcam will grab the audio port and just refuses to let go. I've seen that before. I don't know why it does that, but
yeah. Anyway, I mean, I did go to the sound settings and forced it to take this, but apparently it didn't work. So, but hey, as long as us humans have axes and can get to the CPU,
Right.
we don't have anything to fear from AI.
Well, when I when I was the assistant tech manager at CompUSA, we actually sold a quote-unquote computer repair toolkit that sat on the shelf, and one of the items in the toolkit was a small hammer. And I'm like, when would you ever need a hammer when repairing your computer? Well, having done this for a number of years, I can think of a number of uses for that hammer. None of them good, but it'll make you feel better. So, Laeral Silverhand, if you are going to agree to continue on this endeavor, she openly admits to you guys that she can't really offer you anything physically that you don't already have. I mean, you have a successful inn and hotel. You've got your airship. Now you have an Earthmote. So there's nothing. It's not like giving you piles and piles of gold is really going to be much of a reward for you. What she wants to offer you is, if you are successful in defeating Hallister, she would like to grant you land and titles.
Well, ownership of the Earthmote without contention would be nice.
Well,
But anyway,
yes, that's already on the books. But she's talking about like noble estates around, like in the Castle Ward or in the Sea Ward of Waterdeep itself, and noble titles.
Round of Lord Thornfoot.
Well, yes.
I'm Mr. Lebowski.
Lord Thornfoot really has a ring to it. I could get down with some of that nobility business.
well, I'll let Lord Thornfoot take that on. I just want to be able to enjoy life without responsibilities. So that sounds like a whole bunch of. Now I have to worry about the care of all my minions.
Right. Yeah. With all your guys' minions, you should like start a nursery or something. Wah! I'm level 1. Wah!
Well, all right. Let's head down. I
Okay.
don't see any.
Yeah, let's go.
What I was saying when I was affected by audio difficulties was that if it was just Hallister, we could set up a whole bunch of nuclear devices around the around Skullport and wait for him to show up for his main squeeze and then set him off.
Yeah, because nobody's going to care about the collateral damage in Skullport.
No.
I mean, to be honest.
Well, that's the ambushing, and is probably the safest way to get somebody like that. That's horrifically powerful, and the only place that we know that we've seen him repeatedly has been in Skullport.
We
But-
can't blow Skullport. I still really like that spider-shaped stone building on the ceiling. Come on. It's so
There are
cool.
variations on destroying. It could simply be that we serve him a bag of holding that gets poked inside of a portable hole right in the and so you only eat up about 20 or 30 square or foot sphere in the tavern. But in any event, we're not going to do any of that stuff. Let's just continue on like the Raven Queen thought. We're just stupid mortals, so we'll blunder on down deeper into the depths of this thing. Yep. That's right. Dirt, dirt, dirt.
Carl, make an insight check.
Oh, God. Looks like 23.
So,
Lowest I can get.
in your discussion with Laeral Silverhand, and this is just kind of a side piece of lore for you, when you were discussing the Raven Queen with Laeral Silverhand, you get the distinct feeling that Laeral Silverhand has some form of familiarity with the Raven Queen. Almost to the point where you question, you're like, are they related? Are they sisters, or are they
They're boning.
of like mind? You're not sure what that familiarity is, but she seems to have some kind of emotional connection with the Raven Queen.
Right, like an avatar or a priestess or something. But I've been trying to do right by what the Raven Queen's tasked me with, so I don't have any fear of my information getting back to the Raven Queen. Not worried about that. Just trying to figure out how to do it best, and whether it's the whole mission is aborted.
Right.
I sure would hate to kick off the apocalypse after someone else went and cleaned it all up, because I'm still blundering along thinking I'm supposed to clean it up, and I just restart the countdown.
Right. Yeah.
But blundering should have been anticipated by any godlike being, so let's blunder.
Okay. So let me throw some tokens down.
Before we get back down into the dungeons, there are a couple of things that I wanted to restock on.
Okay.
I wanted to find out if I could have more drow poison or my arrow tips, and to replenish my walloping bolts, and to replenish my paper birds.
So paper birds are a definite yes. They are a very common item. 5 gold pieces would get you 10 sheets.
You don't need drow poison. It's lame.
For drow poison, make an investigation check. Okay,
Thank
see.
you.
On a 19, yeah, you can purchase some drow poison. Drow poison. That's better.
It might be something like, I don't know, something I pick up if we stop in Skullport on the way back down, or somewhere like that, like in the shady places. I don't know. For
Yeah.
the sake of roleplay.
For 100 gold pieces, you can get, with a 19, for 100 gold pieces, you can get 5 doses of drow poison.
Alright. And is it possible to find any bolts of walloping?
Make
Or, I don't know,
another investigation check.
another investigation. 16.
Yeah, you can get 5 more bolts of walloping, and that will run you 500 gold pieces.
Can do. And I think that was it. Did you guys want to hold on to the loot and divvy it up next time we're in town, or did you guys want me to tally loot right now?
Now's a good time. Get that out of the way.
Okay. Well, I get my notes out real quick.
Quick test of audio. Do I sound muted or?
No, you sound good.
Okay. I found a separate spot to control it and replugged the camera back in. So
Nice.
looks like that works.
Very cool. Yeah, I know that my webcam, which is older, it's still like the audio sections for the mic. There's all these settings that you can do for the mic, and I'm like, I don't want filters. I don't want any of this. I don't want to sound like a robotic kitten. I just want the mic to work.
All right, I got a couple questions for you, Chris.
Yep.
I need a price check on +3 chainmail and
Oof.
+1 half plate.
So +3 chainmail is probably going to be worth about 10K.
And +1 half plate.
+1 half plate, you're probably looking at about 4K.
How about, let's see, it looks to me like we're sitting on a few things and I wasn't sure who got them. So who has the Staff of Power?
I will take that.
Yeah, I would hope.
In that case, who has the Staff of Thunder and Lightning? Is anybody interested in the Staff of Thunder and Lightning? Alright, can I get a price check on Staff of Thunder and Lightning?
Staff of Thunder and Lightning is probably going to be worth 8K.
Tome of the Silk Tongue went to cancel, yes? Defender's Dagger went to Brody, I believe.
Yes.
Yep.
I am keen on keeping the Iron Flask with some type of level 4 demon inside, because that excites me very much. Dwarven Hammer of Thunderbolts went to Norte. Small Scarab of Protection went to Aaron. We got a pouch of fancy magical spices that can produce any kind of spice we like. Did we agree that for role-playing, we'll just give that to our Troll Skull Manor kitchen so that we can have all kinds of exotic spices in our food?
I remember that.
Is that good? Anybody contest that?
I think that's what we agreed on.
Alright, so we're just gonna keep that for role-playing purposes. And we have a black robe of the Arch Magi, but it's alignment
All of us.
for the black thing. Is anybody, someone planning on becoming evil and wearing all that?
Yeah, that's the downside of that robe of Archmagi, is that it is evil.
Would we need to stop in down at the Goblin Underworld Market thing to find some kind of evil nasty who'd be willing to take that off our hands?
Well, I'm assuming that the Goblin auction, that's probably where you're most likely selling all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So the black robe of the Archmagi is going to be worth 50K easily. At Telfar, roll an insight check.
Insight?
Yeah.
Alright.
Whoever comes to buy it, kill him.
Yeah. Anybody in the crowd who says, "Hey, I want that," that's it. They're done.
Yeah. You go away.
16.
So on your 16, the thought occurs to you and it's quite amusing that you've looted all of this stuff in your adventures, and you now are aware that Hallister is reseeding the dungeon as you go, and that essentially a lot of this stuff that you're turning around and fencing at the Goblin auction is equipping the monsters that he has reseeded the dungeon with.
I was actually just thinking about that.
Yeah,
The fact that we're just selling to people who will then be looted and sold again. Those goblins have it good.
Yeah, the goblins, in this case, who says goblins are stupid? They definitely have a market and they've got a racket going.
That's great. I'm so glad that we've helped them become such successful merchants and brokers.
I'm not worried about selling in, +2 swords or whatever, but a Robe of the Archmagi is legendary, and that thing should just get destroyed if it's for evil.
True. That would be the smart thing to do, but I mean, 50,000 gold.
Well, I'm down to take a vote. It's not like we're running low on cash or anything, but I mean, our big, beautiful airship now has a bunch of harpoon holes in the side. It's probably not a bunch of dazzled gems. We're gonna have to get more. I'm so upset.
50,000 gold, I think we should take. That's
We kill whoever this gets sold.
that's quite a bit.
Yeah, whoever buys the Black Robe of the Archmagi, let some level 1s restart Undermountain and deal with them.
I'm so kind of disheartened by Norite. I mean, he was such a good cleric, came along with us, did all this good stuff, and then he starts just carrying on with undead zombies and skeletons and crap, and then now he's over here saying, for some money, I could see giving a legendary robe to some evil wizard. Yeah, sure.
And
Well-
then we'll kill them again.
Norite's character progress over the course of this entire dungeon really is an excellent allegory for life. You just get more and more bitter and jaded as you get older.
Norite was already old. As soon as he started adventuring, that's only just after he left the church.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's just life experience that makes you bitter and jaded. So, yeah, I mean, it's up to you guys what you want to do with the Black Robe of the Archmagi.
My money is on, let's get some brownie points and let one of these lawful good religions or whatever ceremoniously destroy the thing. It's legendary, so there should only be one of these black ones.
Well,
And
yeah.
They'll feel all good, and they're going to say, gosh, you guys are such noble, wonderful, upstanding, lawful, good folks, and then we can use their trust and faith in us to some extent later in the future.
That's actually not a terrible idea. So you could, let's see here. You in Waterdeep, you could take it to the Temple of Mystra and let the clerics of Mystra do something with it.
There we go. Let's get some brownie points with the clerics of Mystra.
I mean, she is like the goddess of magic.
Yeah, I mean, how can you go wrong having the clerics of the goddess of magic think that you guys are hot stuff?
It's good roleplay. It's good roleplay. But I'm doing the math for both things. So with and without selling it. I don't know, you'll decide. Down to just donate it and get brownie points?
I think we should get the gold. It's 50,000 gold. That's like
So
more than we'll ever
Terminus, if we turn that into the Church of Mister or whatever, can we get some renown or something for that?
Oh,
I want
yes.
something for it.
Yes.
Something to write in my notes.
If you turn in a Arch of the Magi with the Temple of Mystra, I would say that you will gain an additional, if you don't already have renown with Force Grey, you would gain 5 renown with Force Grey. If you do have renown with Force Grey, then you can add 5 to whatever you already have.
Nice.
Anthony, are you still with us? I don't.
I guess I saw him drop out of Skype.
Okay.
There's been a critical shortage of doors to kick in.
Right. Yeah, he got bored because there were no doors.
Gotta have some doors.
Gotta have doors.
Some glowing portals, something, something to dive into.
Yes. Something to lead with your chin.
Well, okay, so cancel Thrick. What say ye? We seem kind of on the teeter-totter here for what to do with the cloak. Let's get this over with. Either way, I'm not going to bring it up anymore. So we can go down and kick open some doors.
I don't know. Renown is a good thing, definitely, because it could come into play later.
It's an it's a robe of the Archmagi. I'm going to say that you will get 10 renown with Force Grey instead of 5. Because robe of the Archmagi, that's not something you just find laying around. Well, it is after you kill Manchun, but.
What does 10 renown get us? Can we just be like, how much leeway does that give?
So, renown.
Can I accidentally blow up a crowd of people and they'll be like, I didn't say anything.
It gets you 60,000 gold pieces in karma. Says the guy who's pulling for getting it destroyed.
Well, let me take a look here.
I just think it's good RP. I like to imagine Aaron going, no, guys, it's evil. We shouldn't be just handing this out to any damn rando who wants it. It's way too powerful. I like to imagine he's making a case. So far, it's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Now maybe we can get some street cred out of this. Maybe we can be even more famous.
And then Norote's like, ooh, funny.
Yeah,
I could put it on my minion, my spellcasting minion.
So, one of the benefits, if you are a member of that particular faction, would be rank. But other benefits, like attitudes of organization members, as characters' renown within an organization grows, members of that organization are increasingly likely to have heard of the character. For example, members of Emerald Enclave, a faction dedicated to preserving the natural order, might be less friendly toward characters who have not cultivated at least 3 renown with that organization, becoming friendly by default only when a character has gained 10 renown. So you would be at a friend level with Force Grey, and Force Grey is basically Vajra Blackstaff's special missions team that these guys can operate outside the laws of Waterdeep and basically do whatever they want.
Sound like good people to be friends with.
Right. It can gain perks. Earning a rank within an organization comes with certain benefits. A character of low rank might gain access to a reliable contact, an adventure leads, a safe house, or a trader willing to offer a discount. A middle ranked character might gain a follower, access to potions and scrolls, the ability to call in a favor, while a high ranking character might be able to call on a small army, take custody of rare magic items, gain access to helpful spellcasters, or assign special missions to members of lower rank. And then the last benefit is downtime activities. Characters can spend downtime between adventures, building relationships, and gaining renown within an organization, which, at this point, you're already pretty good. Let's see here. And there is possibly more. Let's see what this says.
So is it the kind of thing where maybe they'd be willing to, bestow some kind of blessing on us before we go into our final battle with Alistair? Or, then become some kind of minion to help out?
That is a possibility.
They might have experts in certain skills that would consent to train you. If anybody wasn't proficient in religion and they were a religious organization, I'm sure they have, or history, or whatever they're good at. If they're healing, you might be able to pick up medicine, or maybe you can get training in some sort of a skill. What is it that big organizations can offer you? Licenses to operate, access to markets, information.
I will tell you.
Training,
Let's
stuff
see.
like that.
Let me find the factions.
It'd be kind of cool if if this, we almost have everything we want really at this point.
Right.
But if the different factions or whatever had named characters that could train you in a feat, like if you wanted to pick up the sharpshooter feat, there was a renowned archer from the Orient or something like that, and if you had really good reputation, then you could be trained in that feat or something like that. That'd be kind of interesting.
So basically with rank 10, you would be close friends with Vajra Safar, who is the Black Staff of Waterdeep.
We might get sent out on assassination missions or something.
Well, you have surpassed anything that she might have for you in Waterdeep. However, because anything that she would have for you would be far beneath your talents. But
you understand how interesting it would be for me to go out with my character and then finally, go into the level 1 dungeon and I'm supposed to kill some rats, and it would be like, oh, I really have come a long way. I just knocked out all these rats in 6 seconds.
Right, yeah. I just killed 20 rats in one hit. But Vajra would be able to, let's say that you go down into this next level of Undermountain and you come back with something that you need converted. Let's say that you get another evil item. She might be able to not only tell you the lore and history of that item, but she might be able to perform a ritual that could make it something usable for you.
about the cloak is stalling the game. How about we roll a dice?
Let's keep it.
You want to keep it?
Okay, so now we have a third option.
No, I mean like not sell it like the other.
So someone wants to keep it, someone wants to sell it, and someone wants to give it away.
No, give it away. That's my the opposite of selling it.
Oh,
One
okay.
that doesn't exist.
So the not keep it. Okay, so keeping it is not on the table. Thank God.
No, that was my mouth not working.
We could take cancel in an entirely new direction.
All right, so we got 2 that want to get rid of it and 1 that wants to sell it. So
All right.
let's roll, and if it's because it was 2 to 1, we'll let the dice
Oh.
do it. But if it's a
What do
5
you
or
want to
6, then we're going to sell
You
it.
don't care.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Put it on the ground and kill whoever comes for it. That's what I say.
Third option, Brody says, put it on the ground, and whoever decides that they want it, just kill them.
I thought of using it as bait to identify evil spellcasters and taking them out, but I didn't. The waters were already ugly enough. Okay, so we got 2 against 1, and we'll let the dice go. We'll say if it's a 5 or 6, we're gonna sell it. Here goes. Okay, we're gonna let it get destroyed.
All right. So everybody gets 10 renown with Force Grey. And I think at least one person, it might have been Anthony, somebody already had renown with Force Grey.
I think it was Anthony.
I think it was,
Anthony's
yeah.
Part of Force Grey.
Yeah.
So now it's time to dive down into the Yawning Portal. I've got so many hit points. I'm gonna go up there and just
It's Swan Dive.
do a swan dive straight in.
I got a lot of hit points. I'm just going to tuck and roll when I hit the bottom.
We could all probably just go. And look, there's the elevator. Just jump down.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys take your portals and you get back down to level, what is that, 20? Yeah, you get down to level 20. You know that you know where there is a path leads down to the next level, known as the Terminus Level. As that had pointed you in the direction of where that that descending tunnel went. And you come down the tunnel, and in this is a 20-foot high cavern with 4 tunnel exits, 2 of which contain iron tracks. There's an empty minecart that rests on the northern track. You notice that this minecart, and you can assume that all of them are the same way, and I don't know why you would do this with a minecart, but it has a handbrake. So
it doesn't go out of control when it's rolling downhill.
Well, it's so that you can do an Indiana Jones thing. Because a minecart, nobody should be in the minecart. The minecart should be filled with rocks. So I don't know why it's got a handbrake, but it's got a handbrake just like in Temple of Doom. So you can assume that all of the minecarts are the same way. And this one is resting on a stop bumper at the end of this track. And then there's another track that you can see that goes to the south.
Well, I'll do a look at it and see if it looks to be operational, or if this has just been sitting there so long it's covered with rust. And does it show signs of use?
Of course
and has
it
it been
does.
maintained, or is
No.
it just some ancient abandoned?
So the answer to that is yes. So it does look to be quite ancient. However, it does look like it has been recently used as well.
Right. So somebody's Is there in the signs? I'm seeing that like the rust on the rails has been wiped out because the tracks are used, and it's
Right.
and inside of the cart, is there uranium ore left over, or is it just as it used for transporting?
No, it is completely empty. Norite, go ahead and make a investigation check, and you can go ahead and make that with advantage. Norite?
Yep, I'm doing that.
Oh,
right
okay.
now.
Sorry, you were
Soft 20.
soft 20. So, two things with your soft 20. The first is that you can tell that this mine cart and these tracks are definitely of dwarven I was going to say Mormon manufacture, which that's completely off the rails. It's of dwarven manufacture, and the dust that is left in the cart being empty, but there's still fine powder and dust at the bottom. You find a couple of substances. The first being that some of the dust at the bottom is clearly iron, and you find some mithril dust.
Ooh.
All right. So this is mining. This is not making new residences. This is expanding caverns. This is actual mining for valuable ores.
Right.
Okay.
And
All right.
the track that goes to the northeast, where this mine cart is sitting still, the track goes uphill. The track to the southwest is going downhill.
All right.
So,
I want to keep my eye out for any ores. Dwarves are good at that.
okay.
Okay, Norte, where should we go?
Downhill. It's easier.
Brody says downhill because it's easier.
I think we should go downhill though too.
Okay.
Okay.
All
The
right.
dwarf says go downhill. We go downhill.
I'm gonna have Telfar do some scouting about.
Okay. I assume you want to make a stealth check.
Already did 44.
Okay. And where does Telfar want
I
to go?
activated my wings and I'm flying.
Okay. Where does Telfar want to go?
Well, as soon as I hear Norite go, I reckon we ought to go south. Telfar flies off down south to Chamber 5.
Okay. So you get down to this chamber at the end of the track, and the ceiling here is 15 feet high, and their dust is falling from the cracks in the ceiling, and there is rubble strewn all across the floor. A tunnel to the south, you can hear echoes with the sounds of hammers and picks striking stone.
Yes.
And you guys that were coming down the shaft, you can hear that as you get closer to Area 5. Pretty much like that. And where is Telfar going from there? I assume you're going to fly through and continue on your merry way.
Oh, probably so, yeah. Over here at the intersection to 16A. South of 5.
Okay. So, you guys. Norite, make a perception check.
Okie dokie.
Everything down here is very, very dark.
I bet be wearing my goggles there.
27 perception.
So 27, you notice, purple. You notice to the east there is a door in the eastern end of this chamber. Telfar So Telfar, where you're at, coming from 16A and kind of filling at least to here, you can feel great gouts of heat coming out of 16A, and you can see that there is a fiery glow coming from that chamber. The hall to the east is filled with smoke. And when I say heat, I mean heat, like 120 degrees Fahrenheit. It feels like you're standing in front of a blast furnace. And you can hear the crackle of roaring flames, and you can hear the hammering of, off in the distance, further to the south, you can hear the hammering of picks on stone, but coming from the east in 16A, you can hear what sounds like hot metal being dropped into water.
Well, I gotta see if there's people in there.
Okay.
Can Telfar hear any dwarven mining chants?
No.
Hi-ho, hi-ho, it's off to work we go.
Yeah. So Telfar, you kind of sneak in here, and there's no way that these guys are going to see you. But you see a male and female two sweaty, unarmored Duergar that are in here, that are basically turning chunks of iron ore into ingots. And this is a massive forge. And these two, by just listening to their conversation, you learn that the male is named Brock, and the female is Fumira. And they are constantly just bickering and bitching at one another about their work. And trying to see through here is exceptionally difficult because the entire room is filled with smoke. But you can see more glow coming from the south entrance of this room, like a big fiery glow. And then you can see, you can just make out through the smoke that there is a door to the east. So you guys up in 5, Norte, are you going to tell the others about this door to the east, or are you guys going to continue going to the south?
I'll tell them about it.
So what
I
do
think
you...
we should till Telfar returns from scouting ahead. She disappeared, so I assume that's what he's doing.
That's usually what Telfar's doing.
Where Telfar is. Telfar's always gone.
Right.
But I'm following the dwarf. This is an active mine. We're following the dwarf.
So, Norte, what do you want to do?
Do we see 6A, or is it hidden?
Yeah, he pointed out that there's a door here.
Alright.
I did point out.
You're gonna go open it? Alright.
I offer to listen.
I think we should go up to it and listen at the door.
I'm just gonna open it.
Okay.
If
So-
it kills me, you'll know it's bad.
Brody. For this game, Brody will be playing the part of Shamish. Are you gonna open the door, or are you gonna kick it? Whatever.
Whatever.
So you open the door, and there are sitting in this room. Actually, they're not sitting. They're standing, fully armored, and they turn and look at you. There are 2 female Duergar in here. You can tell because the breastplates of their armor have boobs.
Nice.
And they don't move to attack. They just turn. You open the door and they just turn and look at you.
What are we looking for in here?
The next way down, essentially, or to see what's going on in this level.
I ask them, I say, hey ladies, what's the fastest way down?
The female Duergar named Cavalra looks at you and says, well, the fastest way down would probably be to go talk to Valtagar. He's going to want to have a chat with you newcomers.
Where's he at?
If you come on in, invite your friends out there, we can go ahead and we'll take you to Valtagar.
Someone needs to hold Norate before he attacks them out of disappointment that it's not actual dwarves. He got so excited.
Nope, they're Duergar. The other female guard is named Nisha, and she pops up. She says, "Oh yeah, Valtagar's Steel Shadow's definitely gonna wanna meet you."
Everybody does.
Make a history check.
Didn't make it. Rolled a 2.
Yeah, no.
Can I make a history check?
Yes.
Somebody's got to.
I like how Cancel's just staying all the way at the back, like, nope, fuck you guys, I'm staying back here. I'm a clothy, I'm staying back here.
I got a 21 for my history check.
So you can hear them when you hear Nisha say Valtagar's Steel Shadow is going to want to talk to you. You know that what is this guy's name?
Hey, Cancel, is this where you got made?
Nah.
You know that a King Horgar Steel Shadow the Fifth is the Deep King of Gracklestug, the Duergar city in the Underdark. So maybe Valtagar is related to him. You've never been to Gracklestug, but that's what you know.
I don't expect I would.
So Aaron is kind of engaging Norate because he can see that Norate's got just a little bit of foam coming out of his mouth, looking at these Duergar, and I'll ask you. So Norate, what is it that you hate so much about the Duergar?
They ruin the dwarven image.
They're so damn sexy.
About image? So, what about these zombies and skeletons?
Racist.
Is that okay?
Well,
They're good skeletons, right? So that's okay?
Dwarves they abide by laws and they are honorable.
Well, Duergar are lawful as well.
Their dwarves are also good.
Well, yeah.
And if you don't believe me, my skeleton is going to beat you over the head.
Right, yeah.
No.
I'm so hard on you.
It kind of feels that way sometimes.
I'm sorry. It's just.
It's fine. It's fine.
It tickles me.
I wouldn't expect an elf to
I am not an elf. I'm an
You were asking for it. You were asking for it. I was gonna make the comparison myself. You're like, oh, what do you got against Durgar? Like, yeah, what do you got against elves?
Well, the elves are just wannabes, pretenders. Okay, that's it. Throw down. PvP. Here we go.
So, Telfar, you are still stealthy, and these Duergar, especially through the smoke, can't see you. What would you like to do?
We'll probably turn around and go check on my companions, see what they're doing.
Okay. So you come up to the back of the group, and you see Brody chatting. He's opened this door and is chatting with these two female Duergar guards. And you pick up on the conversation that Kivalra and Nisha, the Duergar, are telling Brody that Valtagar Steel Shadow is going to want to meet with any new adventures that come down into our mines. They're Duergar, but they are not taking an aggressive stance in any way. In fact, they're fairly casual about this, like this is a normal occurrence.
Well, Telfar is definitely going to stay hidden and see where all of this goes. Like, are my friends going to get captured? Is this toxic? He's gonna hang back.
So what are you going to tell him, Brady?
Tell him what?
What are you going to tell the two Duergar?
I'm ready. Let's go talk to the guy.
Okay. So these two Duergar lasses lead you guys.
Whores.
Duergar whores. Both of these tidy lasses are bearded. As you go through 6B, you see that there are 4 Duergar. There are 2 males named Duldor and Grimdor, and 2 females named Marna and Ukzora that are on guard in this station. And Cavalra and Nisha lead you down to 15 and open the door and let you in. Telfar, are you following at a good distance?
Always.
Yes.
Okay. So you see them go down this hall and go into this door to the northeast. And this room, the first thing immediately, knowing you guys, you notice that there is another door leading out of this room going to the northeast. Because you guys are like James Bond, you always have to keep an eye on your exits. The chamber is 15 foot high, and the walls are covered in interlocking stone tiles. Everybody make a perception check that's in room 15.
Soft 20.
23, that's 2 successes. Cancel, what'd you get? Cancel is oblivious. And Norite, what'd you get? So 3 successes. So you guys come into the room, and these interlocking tiles that are along the walls, you notice at first it was almost imperceptible, but now you can tell that coming out of the seams of these interlocking tiles and running down the seams and pooling at the crease at the floor looks like warm blood is dripping out of these interlocking tiles. And you see this Duergar in there, and he is reading a spell book. In the middle of the room is a stone lectern, and on it is a spell book that is made out of mithril plates and bound together with mithril rings. And he's in there reading the book. In the southern corner of the room, you see an iron golem that stands 10 feet tall and looks like a Duergar. And it's just standing there. But you can tell that it is alive and active. Hanging on the wall are dozens of iron masks hanging from hooks on the southeast wall. Against the northwest wall stands a low double bed. In the middle of the room is a locked iron strongbox resting on a low marble table flanked by 2 stone chairs. Cavalra and Nisha lead you guys into the room, and Cavalra says, Lord Valtagar, we've brought some newcomers. We knew that you would want to speak with them as soon as possible. He says, yes. Please leave us. And the 2 Duergar leave and go back to their guard post in 6A. Valtagar tells you, he says, what is a bunch of puny surface dwellers doing down in my mines?
Aaron says,
Norote's shaking with rage.
Aaron says, oh my god, what the hell is this? It looks like blood dripping down the walls.
Yes, that is a side effect of
blood dripping.
That is a side effect of blood dripping. No, it says that is a side effect of the presence of Phasrian.
Phasria? Are we in the flesh of Phasria? Is that what this mine is?
No.
This is terrifying.
No, Phasrian is a fallen planetar that controls this entire level. And it is fortuitous for both of us that you have come into my minds at such a time. Perhaps we can help each other.
Far out, man. What do you got?
What does this blood mean?
So he tells you that Phasrian the Planetar was summoned by a cleric a cleric of Torm in an adventuring party down here, and she couldn't deal with all of the monsters and hideous things that she was finding, and so she appealed to her god and summoned a Planetar. And so a Planetar is an archangel, and Phasrian came down and dealt with the initial problem that she summoned him for, and then he enjoyed that so much that he continued to adventure with the party. But the further and further that they traveled through Undermountain, Phasrian seems to have given into his bloodlust, and he ended up deeming the adventuring party to be evil and not worthy, and ended up killing them all. and he took over. Phasrian has now taken over the Terminus level, and any who enter are judged, and almost always, not always, but almost always, are deemed guilty, beheaded, and then dumped into a pit where he feeds their corpses to 3 audiugs that he has below his throne chamber.
Sweet.
That is horrifying. But what is this blood coming out of the walls?
His mere presence and corruption causes blood to drip down the walls.
So do you want us to get rid of him?
Well, you see, for some reason, I was one of the few that Phasrian deemed worthy to remain, and he has made me Lord of the Mines, which these mines were mine before Phasrian came, so, you know, I'm a little incensed at the fact that he left me in charge of them under him. He says, Valtgar says that all I want for my Duergar down here is to mine mithril and iron until we have enough that I can purchase my way and all of my Duergar back into Gracklestug. Norite, make a history check.
Norte's convinced me. 22, I think he said.
So, Norite, you know that, so when he tells you guys that he wants him and his Duergar to mine enough mithril and iron to purchase their way back into Gracklestug, that tells you that these Duergar, and Valtagar in particular, were kicked out of Gracklestug, which makes them Casalabrak. Meaning that they are outcasts.
Penicillin will clear that right up.
That's a good thing. I mean, Duergar suck, and if they kick you out, that means you don't suck like they do.
No, he wants, Valtagar wants back in to
Duergar aren't evil, are they?
lawful evil.
Oh.
He's just lonely.
Yeah, he wants back into Gracklestug.
In my discussions with Norite, I now have come to understand that these all need to die. I mean, so this celestial being that drowns the world in blood deems this fool to be worthy.
Right.
That isn't something I'd put on my resume personally.
So
I'm
Valtagar.
gonna make a case about judgment to this Archangel.
So what do you want to say?
I've got your back, Norite, 100%. Whatever you, I'm there. My hand's like hovering over my sword.
I'm going to laugh when he says he wants to buy his way back into Gracklestug.
He just kind of glares at Norite and he goes on. He says, so if we can help each other, if you deal with Phasrian, then I will grant you safe passage through my mines for the remainder of your journey through Undermountain.
I don't deal with Duergar.
Oh, come on. You want to fight all of them right now?
I do, actually.
All right.
So this is something that might actually endear Norite a bit to Valtagar. He tells you that shortly after Phasrian made him Lord of the Mines, in an act of trying to endear the rest of the Duergar to Phasrian. Phasrian summoned 4 Yugoloths to the mines. 2 of them he put in charge of being in the Duergar enclave itself, and those 2 have taken the form of 2 Duergar clerics and are basically administering the shrine, a shrine to Laeral, the god of riches and slaves for the Duergar. None of the Duergar want anything to do with that shrine because they know that it is being run by 2 Yugoloths. An additional Yugoloth spends its time in Phasrian's throne hall, and there's a 4th Yugoloth, but he doesn't know where that Yugoloth is. It seems to travel randomly throughout the mines.
And what is a Yugoloth again?
Yugoloths are fiends, most commonly used as mercenaries in hell.
There's something else that needs to die. Or go back to where they came from.
He tells you that Phasrian takes advice from the 4 Yugoloths. These fiends arrive shortly after Phasrian's madness took hold. The 2 that are administering to the shrine of Laeral are named Aximus and Exicus. Raxus is always at Phasrian's side, and Zindalus seems to roam at will. But Valdegar tells you, he says, if you can deal with Phasrian, and preferably his 4 Yugoloths, then you will have free, you will not have any problem traveling through his realm, and he will tell you the secret exit down to the next level after you deal with Phasrian and the Yugoloths.
So, Norte, are the Yugoloths more despicable and worthy of death than these Duergar? These Duergar wannabes?
They are more despicable because they claim they are good, but they are truly evil.
Well, then let's go kill them first.
First, that's the defining word here.
You want to deal with the Yugoloths first? Okay. He tells you, he can give you directions to the shrine of Laeral, where he knows that Aximus and Exicus are. They're always located in the shrine. If that's where you want to start with this little endeavor. However, if that's where you start, you should probably know that, of course, being a celestial, if you kill the Yugoloths, Phasrian's going to know that something is up.
So kill Phasrian first?
Maybe we should go talk to Phasrian first.
If by talk you mean punch, I say yeah.
We deal with lots of
Brody likes to talk with his hands.
characters.
I talk a lot with my hands and my feet.
That way I can make my case about judging beings correctly.
What case? To who?
To the Archangel. So a cleric is going to try and tell an Archangel the proper way to judge mortals. This is going to go over well. So he tells you that the entrance to Phasrian's throne room is in area 13, and he gives you directions. Just go through that northeast door and take the east door, and then head south. You can't miss them; they're double doors. Don't slip in the blood.
All So I don't see there's no chance that this Duergar doesn't recognize that Norite and I are ready to kill them at any moment. We're not friends. At least that's how I am picturing this scenario.
No, he's aware of your current angst. But go ahead and make an insight check.
Ooh, 33.
So as far as he's aware that you and Norte are grinding your teeth wanting to kill all these Duergar. However, you can tell that Valtgar isn't stupid. He's perfectly aware that he can't take on a Planetar. Hold on just a minute.
I got it.
He's perfectly aware that him and his Duergar are not capable of handling a Planetar. However, even though he sees that you guys want to kill him, he's aware that he can make a deal here. Because he has one thing that you guys do not have, and he knows the secret way down to the next level.
Alright, so he thinks he's got that over us.
That would be your guess, yes.
Alright. Lead on, noble dwarf.
So, Telfar, I would assume that you're probably hanging outside the door listening to all of this. Does Telfar have anything that they want that you want to do?
Oh no, Telfar's just keen on staying out of sight and out of trouble. Like, really? We're gonna go deal with a fallen angel and some Yugola? Alright. And then there's this guy right here. I'm sure Telfar can, knows that Norte's in there shaking with uncontrolled, hardly bridled rage.
Because that's always a good time. So, going through Area 6C, you see that this is a Duergar command post. And there is a Duergar here who is one of Valtagar's captains. And his name is Rojkarn Ironhead. And he's called Ironhead because he has a helmet that bristles with spikes and is fitted with a scowling iron mask. There are two other female Duergar here named Brona and Ubrix. Rojkarn Ironhead is pretty much your typical Duergar in that he's not really all that interested in you can tell he has no interest in bargaining with outsiders to deal with the Planetar. He would just as soon enslave everybody and go about his Duergar normal ways. But he's not in charge, and so he, kind of growls and says something about outsiders helping, and then you guys go along your way.
Ironhead, huh?
Ironhead.
Hey, Norte, was there an Ironhead involved in the slaughter of your family? The name seems familiar.
No, my family was actually killed in the last Tarask attack.
Oh yeah, the Ironhead was the people that agitated